want to just take a moment to do a really brief view of Working Wardrobes. Maybe some of you haven't heard my story. Those that you haven't, I would love to make sure that you buy the book that I'm writing about Working Wardrobes. But here's the brief story. I literally just wanted to do a one-time only event to serve survivors of domestic violence and give them a boost to their self-esteem so they could get on their feet. They would feel better about themselves. We wanted to re-encourage their self-esteem, their dignity, so they wouldn't go back to their abusive situation. Hopefully they would get a job and be able to take care of themselves and their family. So it was about empowering the women to feel better about who they are. And at the end of the day, what also happened, they certainly felt that way, but the volunteers were over the moon excited about their volunteer experience with us. And that has been at the core of Working Wardrobes for 31 years, this volunteer energy and enthusiasm and dedication. So we just love our volunteers. And that one event turned out to be a 31-year legacy for me and a history of this organization and 115,000 clients that we've served so far, because we're not done. There have been so many lessons that I learned in running a nonprofit organization and actually just being a better human being. I have to say that those really toggle together. And here's what I learned. Everyone in the nonprofit world needs to be as resourceful as they can possibly be. We never have enough money to do everything we want to do, and we've got to find a way to get what we want to get done. And so finding those resources, finding people to do, volunteer their time, finding ways that we can get whatever we need donated, it's both exciting and fun, and it's also necessary when you're running a small nonprofit. And I think that the other big part of that is to truly value the people that come to do the work and the people that help you get the work done. I actually come from a background having served on another board where they didn't acknowledge and thank volunteers for the work that we did. And they thought that we'd get our thanks when we got to heaven, and I certainly hope that's the case. But it really informed this big difference for me in starting Working Wardrobes, that we thank authentically the volunteers who help us every single day. We couldn't do our work without them. So valuing volunteers is enormous. So I was connected to the CEO of a company by the name of Auto Vital, and his name was Jeff Coates. Jeff came in for a tour. We actually had someone who was involved with us and had done clothing drives and CSR days. And I hadn't met Jeff before, but he came through the whole school of Jack Welch in GE. He was a very powerful CEO. Took him on a tour. I sat down with him and I said, here's what we actually need. These are the areas where we need funding. And I knew that he had some money that he was going to put into a pool for nonprofit organizations. And the colleague he was with thought we might get a portion of it. And he looked at his colleague and he said at the end of our meeting, give her all the money. And I have to tell you, that was one of those moments that as a CEO of an organization, we can't even dream that we're going to hear. And not only did he do that, but the generosity that he had every single year when he was CEO was just remarkable. Truly an amazing person. So that was a great moment. And there have been an amazing number of great moments. I have to say, sometimes just sitting in the audience and being present at a finale when we've done our client success events, watching people in the fashion show, listening to the comments that they have to say, just listening to the applause and the cheers and the tears at the people that are so excited about what we've created in the course of a day. I don't know that you could ever make that happen any other way, but it is so exhilarating and it is so fulfilling to me that people are moved and inspired by the work that we do. So I feel like I am the richest woman on the world, because I have a chance to create this opportunity for countless volunteers. I think always about the volunteer experience and how rich that has been for them in serving the clients that come through our doors. So what a huge win for everyone. Well, we have gone through any number of challenges over 31 years. I don't know that anybody has a run that long and there aren't some hiccups along the way. We've had some major hiccups and some minor ones. I would say the minor ones are finding new places for our donation center to exist. I probably have moved 15 times in 30 years, finding new buildings, getting new buildings ready for occupancy. I'm kind of a closet interior designer, and I love that part of the business for sure. But moving this operation is no easy feat, and I've done it a lot of times. I think the biggest challenge that we face as an organization is the morning of February 2nd in 2020, when 26,000 square foot building that we were in, that we leased, burned to the ground. And I didn't even know what a 4-alarm fire meant, but that's what we went through. And it destroyed everything in the building. And by the time I got to the fire was out and there were just arcs of water on the building. And I didn't quite understand exactly how devastating it was. The fact that the roof was gone, the second floor had fallen to the first floor. There literally wasn't a piece of clothing, a desk, a computer, a pen. There wasn't anything left. And I think that my instincts just kicked in to, okay, what do we need to do and how do we get back on our feet? And truly, this is a community that is incredibly generous and supportive. By noon of that day, we had a temporary headquarters provided by Nicole Sudam with Goodwill of Orange County. We went back to work the next day. And so I don't even realize how incredible that was. It just was what I wanted to make sure we were able to do, that we could have a place for the staff to be and to do the work so we could continue to serve our clients. That was the primary focus. And so we were amazed at the generosity of this community in terms of financial contributions and clothing contributions, everything we needed to get back on our feet. And 6 weeks later, of course, COVID hit. So honestly, it felt like that was almost a blip, because we did continue to just get our work done, obviously served our clients virtually. But in 5 months, I had put a new donation center together and put this new career success center together too. So I'm still standing. It was really quite a phenomenal challenge to go through. But the people that came to support me, that came to support this organization, have my eternal gratitude. And truly, this young woman who is now part of our staff, Michelle Ormiston, made contribution happen for all of our furniture from Toyota Financial Services. So the vision that I had for the staff to be in a center that was collaborative, safe, beautiful, came to fruition. And that's what we have today. We want everyone to come in for a tour. It's really important to see this work. This is one of the lessons that I learned along the way, is that the network that you create, the people that you meet, the way that you engage with donors and friends and colleagues and volunteers, when you do it authentically and you want to literally just have people that you know and that you can support, people support you right back. And that was the message after the fire. People were devastated. They were so sad, but they said, Jerri, we know you're going to rebuild and you'll be bigger and better than ever. And I have to tell you how incredibly inspired I was to get those messages. And so that's what we did. We built it, and it is so much better. than ever before. It was remarkable to see an entire community. I mean, nobody would ever want to go through the fire. I mean, it was catastrophic. But I will tell you, the embrace of this community, I honestly, I'm still dumbfounded by it, and I'm so gratified by it that people just said, we will help you rebuild. This is important work. We know what you've done for 30 years. Now it's our time to help you. That is incredible, incredible. Well, I do talk to a lot of people who want to start a nonprofit organization, and I have to be very honest, and I say to them, I know that you have a great heart for service. And what I want you to consider is the number of nonprofits that exist today in this country, well over 1.5 million. In our community, well over 15,000. Take the idea that you have, the concept that you're working on, find a way to align yourself first with another nonprofit that is close to what you would like to do. Can you provide an additional program or service to them? Or find your way there as a volunteer to really understand what mission is all about, and then understand also financial sustainability, because at the end of the day, this work has to be funded in order to continue. And the opportunity to grow an organization is not for the faint of heart. It just takes really an incredible amount of passion and tenacity to make things grow and to keep moving in the face of a lot of odds. So I'm not the biggest advocate for yet another nonprofit organization, and I totally understand people's passion, but it is so much better to collaborate than to duplicate. And I really ask people to find a partner before they launch another nonprofit organization. It's about really, can you continue to grow, and can you continue to raise money for the organization? Well, when I look to the future for Working Wardrobes, I see a future that is incredibly bright. We are in an economy that is so critical for people to re-enter and find new jobs that give them a paycheck with dignity. So for us, rebuilding careers, the core of our mission, has never been more important and more needed. I mean, I'm shocked even every single day that this essential mission that I started 31 years ago has taken on a much greater meaning today. So I see that there's a need far greater than has ever been true for us. And it exists not just in our community, but it exists in communities across the country. Now, I will admit that over the years, I've thought we should be a national organization, and there were all kinds of plans that I had for that to happen. And every time I'd venture down that road, there would be another financial challenge, and I had to scurry back and take care of day-to-day operations. So I do think there's an opportunity through a virtual platform to serve many tens of thousands of people across the country with the internal work that we do with all of our career building tools and techniques and workshops. I think there's so much that we could do in so many different communities. And I also think there's so much that we could do with the partnerships that we have that could become national partnerships. So I think new energy and new opportunity are really well blended in our new CEO, Bonni Pomush. I think Bonni brings so much of that vision for where we have been and the legacy, and honoring the legacy of where we have been, and saying, really, the future has no limits for Working Wardrobes. And I think she'll really paint that future in beautiful colors for the organization. I have great faith and confidence in what she's going to be able to do. And I will be cheering her on from the sidelines. Well, I actually have, I think, really exciting ideas for my retirement. So I've been working on Project Jerri for the last year. And I couldn't go from 180 miles an hour to just like a full stop. But I don't want to be at 180. I want to maybe notch that back to about 50. So I have already become an executive coach with the Executive Coaches of Orange County, and I'm coaching 2 nonprofit CEOs, and I'm loving that experience. And at the same time, I was asked to chair the organization. So I'm now going to chair executive coaches for the next 2 years. And I see an opportunity there to help grow. It's very much a grassroots, all volunteer organization, kind of same thing I did with Working Wardrobes. And I do think we have a chance to really offer more services to the nonprofit community. And I'm very excited about bringing different partnerships together so that we build a better name for ourselves and we have a chance to really serve more nonprofit organizations. I see that as sort of the accumulation of almost everything that I've done in the last 31 years at Working Wardrobes. Building relationships is just absolutely key. I can pick up the phone and call just about anybody in Orange County and find a way to get to the people that we need, to the resources that we need. And what I want to also do is bring the value that I hold true to my heart of creativity to the work that we're going to do at Executive Coaches. So we've got a wonderful leadership team. They've been incredibly supportive of having me come on board. And it's a daunting challenge. This is the legacy of Bob Cryer, who started Executive Coaches. So I want to honor Bob's legacy. I think that's so important. And there are people in the organization that were around when he started it. So, and I do know Bob. I had a chance to work with him. So I think it's so important that we take a look at what has been done and find a way to move that to the next level. So that's part of what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish my book on Working Wardrobes in my 31 years at the helm. I'm definitely going to travel. And I've got my first trip with my best buddy. We're going to go to Amsterdam and Berlin. I know there's a river cruise in there somewhere. And I just want to have days when I curl up on my very comfortable couch and read and just get lost in great books. And so I'm creating a new community where I'm now living. I'm a resident at Riata Glen. It's a beautiful, active senior community. And there are the most extraordinary people there that are in friendship with me. And I'm finding the richness of their lives. People who have retired have such amazing histories. And I'm finding myself interviewing them because I'm so curious. And I'm loving being surrounded by people that have such incredible lives and are willing to share their lives with me and create new friendships in this final 25% of our year or final quarter of our lives. So I think it's going to be just the most incredible time for me. It's about new opportunities, new challenges, but so much joy and so much excitement and so much fun. So I'm really looking forward to making that a reality for myself and slowing down just a bit. You know, I think it's the most incredible question to ask yourself, what advice would you give to yourself when you were 18? And I think women in particular need to hear that you have all of the opportunities and the talent and the skills that you're going to need. Depend on your best instincts, depend on your gut, and always take the high road. When you take the high road, you almost can't miss. People are incredibly important, and people will help you do whatever you need to do when you embrace them and engage them in your ideas. So put people first. Yes, for sure.